How many times has this happened to you? You walk into the bathroom, you flush the toilet, and instead of everything going down like it should, that water starts rising, and it just keeps rising. Your heart drops because you know exactly what's about to happen. Now, normally you'd grab a plunger, but what if you don't have one? Maybe you're at someone else's house. Maybe yours finally gave out. Or maybe you just moved in and haven't picked one up yet. Well, don't panic. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 simple methods to unclog any toilet without a plunger, using things you probably already have around the house. Plus, stick around to the end, because I've got a bonus tip that can actually prevent most clogs from ever happening in the first place. Let's get into it. Unclogging a toilet without a plunger is one of those skills that sounds impossible until you actually learn how to do it. And trust me, once you know these 3 methods, you'll feel a whole lot more confident the next time you're standing there staring at a toilet that won't flush. The good news is, none of this is complicated. So let's start by understanding what's actually happening inside your toilet when it clogs up. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Your toilet has a built-in trap. It's an S-shaped curve built right into the porcelain, and it sits between the bowl and the drain pipe that leads to your sewer line. That trap holds water in it at all times, and that water is what keeps sewer gas from coming back up into your bathroom. Now, when something gets stuck in that trap, whether it's too much toilet paper, something that shouldn't have been flushed, or a buildup over time, the water can't pass through. That's your clog. The good news is most toilet clogs happen right there in that trap, not deep in your pipes. And that means most of the time you can clear it without any special equipment. You just need to know the right approach. Now, before we try any of these 3 methods, the very first thing you need to do is stop the water from overflowing. This is critical. If that water is rising and it looks like it's about to come over the rim, do not flush it again. I know that sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people panic and hit that handle a second time, thinking it'll push things through. It won't. It'll just flood your bathroom floor. Here's what to do instead. Take the lid off the tank. That's the big rectangular piece on the back of the toilet. Set it somewhere safe because porcelain breaks easily, and then reach inside and push down on the flapper. The flapper is that round rubber piece at the bottom of the tank. When you push it down, it stops water from flowing into the bowl. You can also lift up the float ball or float arm inside the tank, and that will stop the tank from refilling. Once you've done that, you've bought yourself time. The water isn't going anywhere, and now you can work on the clog without worrying about a mess. If the bowl is really full, I'd suggest grabbing a bucket and a cup and bailing out some of that water. You want the bowl about halfway full for these methods to work best. Not empty, not overflowing, just about halfway. Lay some old towels around the base of the toilet too. Even when you're careful, a little water can escape, and towels make cleanup a whole lot easier. All right, let's get into the first method, and this is my go-to when I don't have a plunger handy. It's the hot water and dish soap technique. Here's why this works. Dish soap is a lubricant. When you squirt a generous amount into the bowl, it sinks down to where the clog is sitting in the trap and starts coating everything. It breaks up the grease and loosens the bond between whatever is stuck and the porcelain walls. Then when you add hot water, The heat helps dissolve toilet paper and organic material, while the weight and force of the water pushes everything through. Here's exactly how to do it. Squirt about a quarter cup of regular liquid dish soap directly into the bowl. You don't need anything fancy, just whatever you've got under the kitchen sink. Let that sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. While you're waiting, go heat up some water. Now, this is important. You want hot water, but not boiling. Boiling water can actually crack porcelain, and that would turn a $20 problem into a $300 problem real fast. What I do is run the hot water from my bathtub faucet and fill up a bucket. That water is plenty hot enough. If you're heating it on the stove, bring it to where you see little bubbles forming, but it's not at a full rolling boil. Once your soap has had time to work and your water is ready, hold that bucket about waist height and pour it steadily into the bowl. Don't dump it all at once. You want a steady pour that creates pressure without splashing. The combination of the soap and the hot water will break up most standard clogs in 1 or 2 tries. If it doesn't clear on the first pour, give it another 10 minutes and try again. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it's just a small sample of what I've put into my new guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It's packed with step-by-step instructions for hundreds of repairs that can save you thousands. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let's continue. Now, if the hot water and dish soap didn't do the trick, don't worry. Let's move to method 2, the baking soda and vinegar method. You probably remember the volcano experiment from grade school. Well, that same chemical reaction is surprisingly effective at breaking up toilet clogs. Here's what you'll need. About 1 cup of baking soda and 2 cups of white vinegar. If the bowl is still pretty full, bail out some water first. You want room in the bowl for the fizzing reaction to work without overflowing. Pour the cup of baking soda directly into the bowl. Try to get it down into the drain opening as much as possible. Then slowly pour in the 2 cups of vinegar. You're going to see it start fizzing and bubbling right away, and that's exactly what you want. That reaction creates carbon dioxide gas, and that gas builds pressure inside the trap, while the solution breaks down the organic material, causing the clog. Now here's the key that most people miss. You've got to be patient. Let that mixture sit and work for at least 20 to 30 minutes. I know it's tempting to start flushing right away when you see all that fizzing action, but give it time. The longer it sits, the more it breaks things down. After 30 minutes, try pouring in some hot water from waist height, just like we did in the first method. Between the chemical reaction and the hot water pressure, this handles most clogs that the dish soap method couldn't get. On a lot of jobs, I've used this combination, and it works like a charm, especially when the clog is mostly toilet paper or organic waste. All right, if you've tried both of those methods and that toilet is still backed up, it's time to move to method 3, the wire hanger snake. Now this one is a little more hands-on, but it's incredibly effective when you've got something physically stuck in that trap. Go grab a wire coat hanger from your closet, untwist it, and straighten it out as much as you can. You want one long piece of wire. Now here's a really important step. Take an old rag or some duct tape and wrap the end of the hanger that you're going to insert into the toilet. Wrap it good and tight. Bare wire will scratch up your porcelain badly, and those scratches are permanent. They'll also collect waste and stain over time, so take the extra minute to protect your bowl. Once you've got that end padded, gently feed the wrapped end down into the drain opening. Push it in slowly, and when you feel resistance, that's your clog. Use a gentle pushing and twisting motion to break it up. You're not trying to force it. Think of it more like you're working it loose, poking at it, breaking it apart piece by piece. You might feel it give way all at once, and when it does, you'll see the water start dropping. That's a beautiful sight. Once the water drains, flush the toilet once to make sure everything clears through. If it flushes strong with a good swirl, you're in business. Now let's talk about testing and making sure that clog is fully cleared, because the last thing you want is to walk away thinking you fixed it only to have it back up again an hour later. After whichever method works for you, flush the toilet 2 or 3 times in a row. Watch the water each time. It should drain quickly with a strong swirling motion. If it drains slowly or seems sluggish, the clog may not be completely gone. Try one more round of whichever method worked. I also like to throw a good wad of toilet paper in there, maybe 6 or 8 squares bunched up, and flush it through. If it handles that without any hesitation, you're good to go. Turn your water supply back on if you shut it off earlier. Let the tank fill completely, and do one final flush just to confirm everything is running clean. Let's talk about some common problems you might run into and how to solve them. First, the water level keeps rising even after you've pushed down the flapper. This usually means the flapper isn't seating properly. Jiggle it a little or press it down firmly. If it still won't seal, the flapper might be warped or worn out, and that's a cheap $5 fix at any hardware store. Second, the hot water and soap method didn't work at all. This usually tells me the clog isn't organic material. It might be something solid like a toy, a comb, or a bunch of so-called flushable wipes, which, by the way, are not actually flushable no matter what the package says. When you've got a solid object, go straight to the wire hanger method or consider picking up a toilet auger. Third, the wire hanger can't reach the clog. If you've pushed the hanger in about 12 to 14 inches and you can't feel anything, the clog might be past the trap and down in the drain pipe. At that point, you'd want a toilet auger, which can reach about 3 feet into the line. Fourth, the toilet flushes but drains very slowly. A slow drain usually means there's a partial clog still hanging on. Run through the baking soda and vinegar method one more time and let it sit for a full hour before flushing. Fifth, you notice the clog keeps coming back every few days. Recurring clogs are a sign of a bigger issue, possibly a buildup in your main sewer line or even tree roots that have worked their way into your pipes. If you're getting repeat clogs, it's worth having a plumber run a camera down the line to see what's going on. The good news is, if you follow the steps we've covered, you should be able to handle the vast majority of toilet clogs on your own. Now for that bonus tip I promised you at the beginning, and this one is really worth paying attention to because it can save you from dealing with clogs in the first place. Here's something most people don't know. The number one cause of toilet clogs in residential homes isn't what you'd expect. It's not toys. It's not foreign objects. It's using too much toilet paper at once, combined with low flow toilets that just don't have the flushing power of the older models. Here's what I recommend. If you've got a low-flow toilet, which is pretty much anything manufactured after 1994, do what I call the courtesy flush. Instead of waiting until the very end and trying to send everything down in one big flush once midway through. It keeps the volume manageable and your toilet can handle it without any trouble. Also, and I can't stress this enough, never flush anything other than toilet paper. No paper towels, no facial tissues, no cotton balls, no dental floss, and absolutely no so-called flushable wipes. I've pulled more of those things out of clogged toilets than I can count, and they do not break down the way toilet paper does. If you follow this simple habit, you'll avoid about 90% of all toilet clogs. It's the easiest plumbing advice I can give you, and it works every single time. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my complete guide, the Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It goes way deeper than we can in a single video, with 85 pages covering everything from clearing any clog to replacing your own water heater. If you want to stop wasting money on simple fixes, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. I'm Roger, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.